Well, welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, how are you? Doing all right there, sunshine?
I'm a sleepy baby this week.
Why?
But I'm good. I had a nightmare last night.
About what?
The things.
The Russians?
No. I was not convicted of war crimes. No, I don't know. I just had a nightmare last night and woke up, cold sweat, totally random. Literally, this doesn't happen. I thought I was talking out loud, but I wasn't. It felt like it was an outer body experience, but it wasn't. I just woke up in my bed. I was on a trip. I was sober. I fell asleep tired, and then I woke up in the middle of the night, and I felt like I got attacked by demons. It was ridiculous.
Well, we're going to figure out just exactly how that felt. But before we dive in a little further, thank you everybody for tuning in. This is the Buffalo Happy Hour, episode 68. And today we are going to be talking about, obviously, our whiskey or our weekly recap like we normally do. We're going to be touching on St. Lawrence Spirits Captain Flask Bourbon, and then rounding out the conversation with none other than the gentlemen's over at Will Fargo and Henry Wells. So thank you for tuning in again. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment, and hopefully you enjoy this episode. So about this outer body experience where you're feeling like you got possessed by a demon, was it like an exorcism type thing, or what's going on? Should I be scared? Is this going to happen to me?
I don't think so. I hope not. I don't know. I don't want you and Autumn Leaf to start texting as soon as this airs, but everything.
Derek, can you ask Mike what exactly he felt?
I'm in chapter 4 of my dream book. So don't laugh. She probably has one.
She probably does.
But
I think that's a
I don't know.
bold for you to assume that I don't.
I was laying in bed in my dream, and I was having a conversation with this woman who was like a therapist, and then she ended her sentence by basically eliminating the space between herself and me, and then she came like right to my ear, and it was one of those dreams that was unbelievably realistic, and everything felt real. Like all my senses were heightened. I mean, the amount of dopamine that was being dropped was probably just ridiculous, because all my senses felt like I was actually awake and experiencing all this. And then she moved super close to my ear, and then the last like 4 words of her sentence were super loud because she was right in my ear, and it was basically like she was yelling. And then when I woke up, I felt like I repeated the last thing that she said, like the last word, at the top of my lungs. And I felt like I screamed it. And then that's what woke me up. So then when I sat up in bed, Sam, my dog, for those of you that are new, he just did his typical like, and he sat up and looked at me like, why are you awake? And then I look over and Colleen's sound asleep, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like it was strange, dude. In my dream, I like left my body and I was flying around the room, and then at the end of the dream, when I like re-entered my body, is when she like came to my ear and screamed, and then it was all simultaneous, and then I just woke up and I was soaked in sweat.
Jesus.
It was the most odd thing. Like there was a bunch of other stuff going on in the dream too, but I kind of like don't remember all of it, but I wanted to like write it down and like call someone and just be like, you're a medium or something. Right. Like, what is this? It was so bizarre.
Did she have like a facial structure? Or
it was a full face.
Do you recognize that person at all?
No.
We're going to figure it out right now.
Perfect. 3 hours later. All right, so we figured out nothing.
Yeah. Want to get to the whiskey section? So, like, I have so many questions. Have you ever felt that before? When was the last time that you remember a dream that shook you to your core?
Back in Grenada. No, I really don't. That's not a thing. Like, I've never experienced that intensity in a dream before ever.
Did you watch a scary movie or something lately?
No.
You don't like scary stuff?
No, the scariest quote unquote thing I'm watching is The Blacklist, and that's not scary. So I don't know. I just finished Gilmore Girls. That's not scary. So I got
that's
nothing.
Enough to haunt anybody.
Listen, it's a good show.
Maybe it's because you finally became a dad and you decided to get a dad clip for your phone.
Listen,
that's what scared you straight.
You might be right, but it's practical. And now I don't have my phone in my pocket all the time, and I sit on it. Now it's just attached to my hip on my
like
dad
this
clip.
Bad boy right here.
That's right.
So, Jesus, I still don't understand. So, like, Have you ever felt sleep paralysis where you were awake but you couldn't move?
No.
Was that this? Were
No.
you for sure dreaming?
I was 100% dreaming, but if it was like Inception where there were like levels to it where I knew I was dreaming, but I couldn't wake up, but it wasn't sleep paralysis because I just couldn't escape the dream. Like no matter what happened, I couldn't escape the dream. And then because I was dreaming of being in my house, in my room, in my bed at night sleeping, I couldn't get out of it because when I quote unquote woke up, I was in that same environment. Like the parameters haven't changed. So I don't know. It was like one level broke off and then I was that much closer to waking up. And then as soon as like she came to my ear and then I like came back into my, I don't know, like back into my body, then it was all this crazy phenomenon. And then I just woke up and I'm like, that can like never happen again. And then it was like 1 a.m. I was only asleep for like 2.5 hours at that point.
Yeah. We should call Leo. He can dissect it for us. That's
I'm not
weird,
a fan,
though, dude.
So now I'm like driving to work in the morning, like everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Did you think that you were sleeping when you woke up?
I thought I was like, I don't know.
Are you sleeping right now?
Shut up, Derek.
Michael.
I don't know if like.
Do you have one of the like? What are they called? The
no, I don't have the
tops
thing
to make sure
that I spin and then it falls over. No, I felt like something entered me. Like I didn't feel that. I was afraid of that actually happening. Well, like, did I just get overtaken by a demon? Like, is something now inside of me?
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about like the exorcism of Emily Rose, and I'm like, well, now what? You know? Well, now what? But
we got to stop this business partnership right now.
yeah, exactly.
That way I don't get possessed. That's strange, though, man.
That's the word.
Possessed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was afraid of. But I'm like, am I possessed or did I like have an out of body experience? Like, I have no clue what that was. I don't want to experience that again. So I'm basically just gonna, I don't know, fall asleep with the, what's that thing called? Now you all know how super religious I am.
Yeah,
the
I know what you're saying. I don't know what it is, though. Who? What?
it's not a necklace. All right. It's not a necklace. What the hell is that called?
At their
I know
screen
they're
right now.
screaming right now.
You're an idiot. It's this.
Well, you don't even know it.
No, I'm not religious, though.
The Hail Mary? No, that's the actual prayer.
I'm pretty sure that's what Kyler Murray did to us, and that's why we're not 9-0 right now in the last 9 games.
I know, dude. But yeah, let's move on because I'm starting to flip out.
You have to figure it out now. 2 hours later.
Is it the Hail Mary? No, that's the actual prayer. What's the thing called?
If you think I have the answer to this, you're 100%
Aren't you,
wrong.
dude? Everybody's like some thing branch of Christianity.
I was brought up like Lutheran, and I have no idea how. I still don't know if I'm actually Lutheran or not. My dad was. I don't know, dude. I was dragged to church for like 5 days out of my life, and then I faked having a sprained ankle so I didn't have to go the next day, and then I just never went back.
It's a rosary.
There you go.
My family's literally rolling over in their grave. I thought you were a Kelly.
I was. What is an effigy? I was gonna say an effigy. Isn't that something that you burn, like Ron Swanson? You toss it from a safe distance.
I'm not even gonna attempt.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, that's so.
So that's my week. How's your week?
You're gonna better than yours. I'll tell you that right now. I wasn't possessed.
I know you didn't need a rosary.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean the week was good. We celebrated New Year's. We went over to a buddy's house. It was just like 6 of us, and hung out, and then left right when the ball dropped because I'm just getting too old for this. I can't stay up until 2 a.m. anymore. That's not who I am. So 12:20, I'm like, you know what? It's getting pretty late.
I did the same thing.
I gotta get going.
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
12:20 shut up, we left.
It's crazy.
Nope.
But I mean,
botch.
that's really it. We watched the Bills game. We got together with some friends, watched the Bills game too. And then, just continue grinding. That's really it.
Oh, you
Didn't do
watched
too
the game
much.
with friends? That's
Yeah.
fine. All right,
I
let's move
texted
on.
Mike and I'm like, hey man, you want to watch the game together? And he's like, no, I'm busy. I'm like, all right, see you later. I don't have to do anything with you. It's fine.
I didn't say busy. I had family coming over to exchange gifts.
Yo, busy. So it's okay. We don't got to talk about that ever again. But yeah, what else did you do besides getting possessed? Anything exciting?
No. I got my Christmas gifts from another friend of mine.
Yeah, it's fine.
And it's a scooter, so it's sweet.
What are you going to use it for?
To
Go over to his
scoot.
house?
Yeah. We scoot to each other's houses.
Oh my God.
It's, dude, 14 miles an hour, 9-mile range. It's got a kickstand and cruise control. It's an electric scooter, and it rips.
At least it's an electric and not a razor scooter.
No, it's a razor scooter on roids.
Have you ever had a razor scooter growing up?
The old school ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. We all did. And that's why we all have shin splints, because we literally broke our shins in half.
Were you good at it?
No.
Did you take it seriously?
No.
Because I feel like if you skateboarded, going down the scooter route was just like, wow, who are these nerds?
Correct. Yeah.
Same with like extreme blading.
No, it's Team X Blades.
Is that from that?
That's from the movie Brink, which is a
Brink.
Disney movie original classic.
I did watch that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have a childhood.
I mean, just because it was real. That's why I watched it, because it had a real person in it.
Oh, so it wasn't animated?
Correct.
Gotcha.
So that's why.
Yeah. Anyways. What about all those fake Nickelodeon shows, Trader?
They were, I mean, some of them were animated, like Rocket Power. That was my shit.
What about Cat Dog?
Oh, God.
What do you mean, oh,
Why
God?
is that your first go-to?
It's not. It's the first go-to to prove my point that Disney's better than Nickelodeon. Disney's not going to produce some trash like Cat Dog.
That's what I'm saying. So I didn't watch it.
Whatever.
Why would I watch a show about a dog and a cat interconnected? This isn't the Human Centipede. I'm not watching that shit.
All right. Well, who knows? There is a couple good episodes.
Yeah.
You didn't watch it at all?
No.
What about Angry Beavers?
No. What kind of... Are we on Cartoon Network? What is
no.
Angry Beavers?
Are you serious? You know what it is. Don't play games. Let's move on before I get mad.
The only animated stuff that I watched was Rocket Power,
Who hurt you?
Rugrats, when I was young, and Hey Arnold. It was the most depressing time of my life when I got to the age and I realized that Hey Arnold was younger than me. Because I always looked up to the kid, and then I'm like, hold on, I'm older than this kid now?
Wasn't Doug on Nickelodeon?
Doug Funny, yeah. And Skeeta.
And Patty Mayonnaise.
Hell yeah. Loved her. She was my girl.
What about Kim Possible? Or is that Disney?
That's Disney.
Oh.
I don't watch that.
Yeah. The attractive animated... I got you. All right. Yeah. You just watched
I did watch Fairly Odd Parents. Fairly Odd Parents. Fairly
Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah.
What was that chick in there that Timmy Turner was obsessed with? She had my heartstrings for a while.
Oh my goodness.
What was her name?
I don't
Tiffany. I don't know. Dude, where's my brain today? Did I get possessed walking in here?
That's why we have notes.
Well, yeah, but this doesn't pertain to the Fairly Odd Parents. This pertains to our bourbon.
I don't think anyone cares about what we've been talking about other than the fact that I probably got possessed last night.
And that's what I think we should focus on a little bit longer, because I still don't know if I'm in the clear right now.
It's fine. I tested negative.
So Colleen didn't wake up?
No. And I asked her, I was like, did you hear anything? She's like, no, like, dude, my bracelet was off my wrist. I ripped it off my wrist. This never comes off.
Can you roll your sleeves up a little bit? Do we have like handprints? Dude, what if you rolled your sleeve up right now when you saw handprints?
Shut up. Look at this.
I know that you would have freaked out.
So there's marks on my forearm, but it's from playing with Sam. It's not from the dream.
Dude, if you had like a whole hand on your arm,
I wouldn't be here today. We would have taken weeks off. I would have done a monk retreat. I would have just surrounded myself in the woods to get away from everything. I don't know.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Can we drink? What are we doing? We don't have time.
No, do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, yes.
Like the ghost, or like a spiritual figure? Like, do you look at the window and you see a bed sheet with eyes, or do you actually see somebody that came up from the underworld and now it's like, oh, what's up, mom?
The underworld?
I don't know, dude.
Why's it got to be my mom? Why'd you got to go there? So for those that don't know, she passed away.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Yeah,
We'll
take
talk
care.
to you later.
So here's the thing. A ghost is a paranormal person that you see. That is a ghost. The only reason you see a bed sheet with eyes is because of TV.
But why do we do that?
That's a ghost. What do you mean? Why do we do what?
Why did we decide that to portray a ghost, we should put a bed sheet over someone's head and give them black eyes? Like, what made us go down that route?
You expect me to know the answer to that question? Probably political correctness. I don't know. They're probably just wanted to be less scary, but still be cute for Halloween with marketing. It's probably all money grab.
I'm not even going to... so you decide to go with a white sheet to not scare people?
Oh, I don't know.
Going to history, most scary people wore white sheets.
I know about the white sheets, especially below the Mason-Dixon line.
But okay, so you do. We got to get back on track. To
Yes,
nothing.
I believe in
You believe in
paranormal.
ghosts?
I already
Would
answered
you-
that question.
Next question.
You would be the worst background investigator for a police department. So do you believe in ghosts? Yes. Okay. So where do you think we went wrong? I don't know the answer to that question. Okay. So do you believe in ghosts?
See, that's actually a tactic, though, for investigating because you have to make sure their answers corroborate.
Oh, brother.
Back when I was an investigator for a department store, I had to be like, did you steal those shoes? And he's like, no. And then I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's a cool pair of shoes. How much were those shoes that you stole? And he's like, $30. I'm like, gotcha. You ask again to make sure their story
A
is in
different way.
sync.
A different way.
So do you believe in ghosts at all? So, okay. Have you ever had a run-in with a ghost?
We've already had this episode.
Did we?
Yeah. That's the issue is we have so much content, you forget what we talk about. Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a graveyard. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's coming back to you.
Would you stop? What is wrong with you? I hope Autumn Leaf shows up and smacks you in the back of the head.
When was this little thing that you did? Was it on Halloween? It was, right?
No.
When was it?
Like a Tuesday. There was no significance of the calendar date. It was just
Was it like now?
No. Wait, what are you asking? When we went to Gudelberg?
Yeah.
That was sophomore year of high school. So that was 2008.
But was it in January of the sophomore year of high school?
I don't remember the month. Are you nuts? Are you trying to... Let's get to the whiskey section. Hit the thing.
I'm just trying to see if there's a correlation between your most recent
I had a nightmare. I didn't sleep. Now you're grilling me like I'm under investigation. We got wipes all over the place.
I'm laughing so hard.
What is happening?
God.
I
Okay.
shouldn't have even said anything. Can we drink? I'm literally just gonna pour the bottle.
We're not done with this ghost topic.
Yeah. Can we be?
All right, so one last question. Do you believe in ghosts? All right, well, that section was a debacle.
Yes.
That was fun, though.
Oh, it was a riot.
I enjoy talking about that stuff.
Perfect.
You don't?
No, I do. I just don't want to relive my nightmare because you're grilling me with questions.
Oh my God, that was so funny. All right, so today on this week's whiskey section, we have St. Lawrence Spirits. So St. Lawrence Spirits, as you probably guessed it, is located up near the St. Lawrence River. So in front of us right now, we have the St. Lawrence Spirits Captain's Flask Bourbon. Comes in at 90 proof, 45% alcohol. This distillery, won the award of the 2019 and the 2020 Distillery of the Year. Distillery of the Year. It's pretty impressive. Bourbon specific, so for this bourbon, it won the Governor's Cup Best of Show in 2020, the Great American International Spirits Competition Platinum in 2020, the Bronze in 2019, and the Silver in 2017 for the North American Bourbon Whiskey Competitive, competition, I'm sorry. So, International Spirits Competition in 2020 and 2019, and then the North American Bourbon Whiskey Competition, a silver medal in 2017. So, a little company background. They're relatively new, so there wasn't a ton of information on them. But the St. Lawrence Spirits is a family distillery founded by father-son duo Jody and Bill Garrett back in 2015. One of the first distilleries to use water directly from the St. Lawrence River to proof down their spirits. So kind of similar to Devil's River, they're using water right next to their water source to be able to proof it down. 100% of their grains used in their bourbon, whiskey, and their moonshine, which we'll talk about all their products a little bit later, are grown in New York State, and 90% of the grains used in these products come from their family farm, Lucky Farm Ranch, right down the street. So they're sticking with what they know. They started a farm. They were like, basically, how do we capitalize on this, which we'll talk about. Initially, the family thought the best way to capitalize on their family farm was to start a winery. But after attending a few wine tours, they decided to go with the distillery because it was a faster and a safer return. After making up their mind, both Jody and Bill attended the Moonshine University in Louisville, which is where Justin Hartman also went, another local distillery. The distillery sits on a 7.6 acre plot of land, which includes a historic 1937 manor, which they converted that manor to the distillery, a seasonal tasting room, and their own restaurant called the Chateau. Community is a major factor in the Garrett's business. They already have plans in works to donate a portion of their proceeds to Save the River and offering an internship-style course for Jefferson community students to learn the process of distilling, from harvesting and distilling to serving, by having them grow the ingredients at Lucky Star Ranch and assist at the distillery. So it's a whole internship program, which is pretty sweet, giving back that way.
Wait, they offer that?
They offer it through Jefferson Community College, which is pretty sweet.
So does Jefferson have a distilling / craft beer program, and then in that you can intern at this distillery?
I would assume so, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. He's quoted by saying, "We're going to help grow the industry for everybody." That's Mr. Garrett that said that. I tried to look up some of the information on what the manor was. It was named on the National Register of Historic Places in 2007, but I couldn't find any information on the manor itself. So maybe one day we'll be able to go out there. It's a beautiful, beautiful distillery. I'll throw a picture up here for everybody to look at, but it is a beautiful distillery. Some of the products that they offer a vodka, 4 gins, including a barrel-finished gin, which is nice, 3 absinthes, 2 moonshines, an Empire cream, and then 5 whiskey products. So they do 3 different ryes. They label their stuff interesting because they do like, this whiskey is made with this grain and this grain, and this whiskey's made with this grain and this grain. So it doesn't outright tell you that it's a rye, but it'll tell you this was made with corn and rye. This was made with wheat and corn or something like that. And yeah, so that's really it for this distillery. It's located up in by the Finger Lakes up near the Thousand Islands over by the St. Lawrence River. So it's a pretty cool spot. They have this huge plot of land for them to do events at, and I'm interested to see how this tastes. Little St. Lawrence Spirits Captain Flask Bourbon.
Nice.
Already, it's got a nice like copper tone to it.
Yeah, it's a darker color in the bottle, and then when you pour it into the glass, it kind of lightens up just a smidge, just based on volume. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a nice dark copper, and it's oily, which I think fits the bill for a 90 proof as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should we rate this thing?
I think we should do our cocktail section first. What are you, new here?
All right, man.
Do you have a cocktail?
What's your cocktail?
Do you have a cocktail?
I have a variation of a cocktail.
Gotcha.
Drop the beat for the cocktail section.
You're still so new here. Cocktails. I felt like that was a weird one. I felt like I ran out of air. Maybe I was possessed. All right, Michael, what's your cocktail?
Oh,
or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
All right, so my cocktail is called the Shipwrecked Mule. We have 1.5 ounces of Captain's Flask bourbon, 0.5 ounces of lime juice, and then your favorite ginger beer. You top that with, basically you put the bourbon and the lime juice in your cup. You top it with the ginger beer, and then put it in a copper cup like a typical mule. So that is the Shipwrecked Mule.
Sounds good. I like that. For me, I'm just going to do a common cocktail that we've done way too many times without any major variances, but I feel like this would make an incredible Manhattan. Mm-hmm. Just because of how it's light, but it's still potent with its tasting notes.
Right.
So I feel like it would enhance a Manhattan and then make it just that tad bit more enjoyable. So my cocktail is just a Manhattan and use this bourbon.
Nice. Yeah, this is very cool. It's a very interesting taste, which we'll get to in the whiskey section. But your initial thoughts are, you like it, don't like it? This came in at about $45, I think. So it's in the lower part of the local bourbons. I feel like local bourbons are around like the $50 mark, and this is coming in probably, I think, a little bit under $45. But what are your initial thoughts on it?
I like it a lot. I feel like this would be a nice everyday sipper in a decanter. Mm-hmm. And then obviously once you get to like the halfway point in the bottle, you just want to finish this up so you don't potentially lose anything and or ruin the product because it's been sitting in a bottle for too long. I like it. It's good. Mm-hmm. And because it's still 12 degrees in here, it's like perfectly chilled.
Yeah. I brought it upstairs actually in my house to warm it up because I'm going to start trying to do that a little bit more. We are losing quite a bit of the flavors when it is almost frozen in here. So I'm going to start putting it inside the house to make sure that it warms up to close to room temperature and then get it right before we start recording.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. So you want to get into the whiskey section?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Oh my goodness.
See, you did it too.
Not the possessed way like you did.
We're going back to that. So do you believe in ghosts? All right. Label branding. What do you got?
It's a stunning label.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the color of the whiskey behind it, it brings a different element, but it's a glass cork, which I think we have to touch on because I think the only other time we've ran into this is with Johnson Estate Winery.
Yep.
So having a glass corked whiskey bottle is unique. Mm-hmm. So that's going to increase it for me. Here's your pen so you can write it down. Wow, look at that.
Super effective.
Crushed it.
We were talking about how good we would be at shuffleboard now that we got this table and we just slide stuff to each other. I need a new partner after that one. So
that's right. I do like their logo. It's got the anchor and St. Lawrence built into it.
Yeah.
The blue stripe across where it says the captain's flask, that's stunning. And that's also unique. Like, there's other brands that do have just a bold stripe outside of the label with a different color to kind of catch your eye, but I really like that blue, and it's like a metallic, flashy color to it.
Yeah, so for their other products, that color changes, which I like too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they have Distillery of the Year right on the back with the map of where they are. So they're due north, that's for sure. So it's nice. Obviously, it gives you everything you need. It's got the government warnings and all that fun stuff, but their font's nice. I'm going to go an A+.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I agree. I think that cork adds a massive element to it, too.
Yeah, I agree. Agree.
Nose,
you're picking up a heavy, like, caramel corn. Like a candy corn?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I don't know how long this was in the barrel for, but if I was to guess, this is probably one of their higher corn mash bills. Actually, I don't really know that because I don't know their other whiskey products, but you can really smell the candy corn in here. And then like a sweet, kind of like a tobacco. This is very inviting.
The tobacco's interesting because it's kind of the scent that you get when you leave a smoke shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's
a good one.
You get hit in the face with the fresh air from the outside, but then you still get that lingering bit of the smoke shop from the inside. That's pretty much what you pick up with this.
That's a really good call. So like a candy corn and tobacco, like
essence.
A sweet tobacco, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to... So for nose, I'm actually going to give this an A+.
I like that.
Okay.
You do get some salt.
It's so inviting.
Yeah.
Is St. Lawrence River, is that salt?
No.
Does that connect to the
I don't believe it
Atlantic Ocean at all?
Unless I'm an idiot, which, you know what, today I don't have a brain. But no, I believe it's fresh water. It's got to be.
This is so interesting.
It's a river.
I actually really enjoy the nose on this, more than I thought I was going to.
St. Lawrence water system, which includes the Great Lakes, is one of the largest in the world.
Okay, so if it includes the lake, yeah. This is so good.
And it is chilled, but not to an awful extent. But there's almost no burn on this.
This is a 90 proof too. This is heavy. This is a big boy.
I wonder why. So initial taste, I'm getting a little bit of salt, like a salted caramel, and it's a touch of it, a small hint. It's not bad at all. You get some charred oak,
a little bit of cinnamon too.
I'm not getting cinnamon.
Really?
I'm getting small wood sugars, but that's, kind of status quo.
You get the You get a little bit of a sweet tobacco. Like if you were to go buy a cigar that is a very light one, and you smoke it, and then like 10 minutes later, you still get that aftertaste. That's what I'm getting from this. So like a little bit of a sweet tobacco, and then like a salted caramel, you think? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ending note, there is honey. Not a lot. There's levels to this, and it's all up front in your mouth. It doesn't, so all the tasting notes in the profile are up front, and then the ending note with the burn lingers on the very back of your throat and then sits at the back of your throat before it travels down. So, and then you gotta get like the hug is a very, very low hug, but it's unbelievably mild. It's really just sitting in your chest.
You kind of get like
you would get a more intense burn if it was a higher proof in the chest region. Like most 130s or barrel strength, you'll get like, wow, my chest is actually warming up from this bourbon. But for this, it's just a very mild, re-inviting, come have more burn that just kind of sits in your mouth and then warms up your chest a little bit.
I'm looking up their other products to see if they have a cask strength, because if they do, that'd be an interesting one to try. This makes, you can tell this is very oily, not only because of the legs on the glass itself, but once you drink it, like you said, it stays, like, it hits you really quickly, and then the burn goes down, but the flavors don't. It kind of gets your mouth a little bit, like, I don't want to say phlegmy, but it gets that thickness in your mouth. This is a very full-bodied whiskey.
Yeah.
I enjoy this. Yeah, I want to see if they have another product.
If you're new to whiskeys, this isn't a bad option to go with. For one, it's perfectly priced. And for two,
it's very sweet too.
It is sweet, but it's also not going to knock you. It's not going to knock you over. Like, it's a nice sipper. If you want to cut it with some drops of water, that's fine. But I mean, you really don't need much. And again, this would make an incredible Manhattan.
Yeah.
This is good.
Okay, well, I'll dive into this, the different options that they have after this segment, but let's finish her up. So, final rating. Okay, so we didn't give the ending note rating.
I'm gonna go A.
A. With
sorry, I'm 3 steps ahead. Honey. There are some. You said cinnamon, and then there are some wood sugars and like the charred oak, but that's it. And it's faint. All of that is faint on the back end. Yeah. And then for the final rating, give me that countdown.
Jesus, you want to quiet your dog? All right. 3, 2, 1.
89. 89.5.
I like it.
It is. I mean, this is a very good whiskey.
Yeah, I like that a lot. This is...
And it does travel through your nasal cavity, through your sinuses. I mean, it's just it's nice.
You know what this reminds me of? Jefferson Ocean with more corn. Like a sweeter Jefferson Ocean. Because you get that sugar, salt, caramel, kind of corn, but this is much more corn than Jefferson Ocean. But it gives you that same feeling as it's going down.
Yeah.
This is delicious. Very, very well done. So their whiskey products, I said that they have an Empire Cream. They also have a rye, which is 100% rye.
Wow.
That's gonna kick you. That's gonna be interesting.
It's like drinking a loaf of bread.
They have a barrel proof distilled from corn and rye. So it's I don't know if this is primarily corn, but it's 119.1. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, daddy.
They have a wheelhouse whiskey, which is distilled straight from corn. So it's all corn. That's going to be even sweeter than this, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The Captain's Flask, which is corn and wheat. Okay, so that makes sense why it's very sweet and doesn't have any bite to it.
No.
There's no rye in this at all. It's just corn and wheat. They have a Kentucky Sun, which is corn, rye, and wheat. This one is also 90 proof. That's going to be interesting. So that's all their whiskey products. I am very intrigued with this distillery.
Me too. I really want to visit them.
Yeah. I mean, how far is it away from Buffalo? But I bought it at
Probably-
actually a liquor store right over kind of by me.
Probably 4 to 5 hours if I had to venture a guess.
We should try to take a trip up there, and we'll tag them in this post and see if they'd be down for it. But I'd be down to interview them, especially because they don't have a whiskey background, and they just decided, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just go to Moonshine University, learn how to make spirits instead of making wine.
Yeah.
Normally, you don't see that transition. I don't know if I would call distilling spirits, especially bourbon, a safe bet. You put these in the barrel for eons before you can even try them.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's almost less maintenance.
Then wine, sure.
Yeah, because with wine, you have to have the grapes. You got to make sure they're all set. Then you got to pick them. Then you got to go through the whole entire fermentation process. For this, you have your mash bill, and then you just age it properly in the right, and in the proper barrels and all that fun stuff. But to answer your question, they are 3 hours and 40 minutes away.
That's not bad.
Not at all.
We should talk to them, see if they'd be interested.
We'll send you a message in the DMs.
Yeah,
we'll
because-
figure out.
Yeah, I want to try all their products. It seems very, very interesting, especially if it's similar to this. The place that I went to only had this one, and I believe the rye, corn, and wheat one. So
And you went
we'll make
where?
Sure. Centerview Liquor or whatever, right over here on Union.
Oh, by the lighthouse. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, by Seneca Creek.
Yeah, it's just close to me. So
Yeah.
but yeah, this is very interesting. Well done, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Wow. Anyways,
Right?
let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, perfect timing. Sean is probably freaking out because he's like, these aren't 50 minutes apart. These are like 18, 25, 36 minutes apart because we just forget.
We're disasters.
Jesus, you want to drink a little more?
I had a very small pour. I went small.
What the hell's wrong with you? Put more in.
No,
you got to
no.
get the devil out of you.
Listen. You got some demons in your blood. Here's some cocaine.
Yeah. Do you believe in ghosts? All right, so let's get into the segment miniseries section. All right, so we are in our second segment miniseries section. If you guys are just joining us right now, thank you very much for tuning in. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We are here for you. Our first segment miniseries was based off of the history of Buffalo, really figuring out how Buffalo came to be. And now after that, they kind of overlap a little bit, but now we're looking at the prominent people of who impacted the Buffalo area. We started off real strong with Mr. Stephen Grover Cleveland, still not over it, 3 weeks after. And then we went to Frederick Law Olmsted, who was quite the ladies' man, if you know what I'm saying. And then we transitioned to the Knox family, a very prominent figure in the East Aurora area. And now, Mike, episode 4, who are we talking about?
Episode 3.
Episode 4, Grover Cleveland was 1, Frederick Law Olmsted was 2, Knox family was 3, and now we got episode 4.
So I went to college, and that's also a copy and paste error.
It was the demon talking.
Yeah. So Wells Fargo is obviously a well-known bank, right? So we
Never
can
heard of
discuss how Will Fargo and Henry Wells are from Buffalo and their history. So William George Fargo was a pioneer American expressman who helped found the modern-day financial firms of American Express Company and Wells Fargo with his business partner, Henry Wells. He was also the 27th mayor of Buffalo, serving from 1862 until 1866 during the Civil War. So, Mr. Fargo was born in Pompey in Onondaga County, New York. Maybe it's Pompey, maybe it's Pompey. I don't know, either way. Onondaga's out by Syracuse.
Pompeii? What?
Might be a volcano there.
Could be.
So he was born on May 20th, 1818. He was the eldest of 12 children of William C. Fargo, so his dad was a little busy, and Stacy Chapel Strong. His younger brother was James Congdell Strong Fargo.
Jesus, do you want to abbreviate his last name for a second?
Yeah, really. And he was the president of the American Express Company for 30 years. William's education consisted only of the rudiments taught in a country school, as he left school at the age of 13 to carry the mail in Pompey and help support his family. So his lineage is full of veterans that fought in major battles in the country.
Good for him.
So his dad was born in New London, Connecticut. He fought in the War of 1812, which we discussed in an earlier episode. The elder Fargo was stationed at Fort Niagara and fought in the Battle of Queenston Heights under General Van
Rensselaer.
Rensselaer, which I believe Rensselaer County is off of that name. I believe.
There's also Van Rensselaer Street in Buffalo.
So that resulted in the death of British General Isaac Brock. Fargo was wounded in the right thigh just before the Americans took possession of the ground, and his grandfather, William Beebs Fargo, Bebe, who served with distinction in the American Revolutionary War.
Have you watched Schitt's Creek?
No.
Oh, no.
I watched New Girl. It's better. Anyways.
Stop it.
In the winter of 1838, Fargo started working with Hoe and Gilchrist grocers from Syracuse. He remained there for a year until he went to work with the grocers, Roswell and Williott Heineman. After 3 years, he obtained a clerkship in the forwarding house of Dunford & Co. in Syracuse. In 1841, he became a freight agent. So it's basically FedEx before FedEx. He was an express messenger between Albany and Buffalo for the Auburn and Syracuse Railroad in Auburn.
I wonder if he would have delivered my packages on time.
Maybe. A year later, in 1843, Fargo was a resident agent in Buffalo, New York. He left the Auburn and Syracuse Railroad and joined Livingston Wells & Co. as a messenger. So on April 1st, 1845, along with Henry Wells and Daniel Dunning, Fargo organized the Western Express, which ran from Buffalo to Connecticut. Also, this is insane because it also went all the way from St. Louis to Chicago, and there was a bunch of intermediate points under the name Wells & Co.
Jesus.
At that time, there was no railroad facilities west of Buffalo, so Fargo, who had charge of the business, made use of steamboats and wagons. In 1845, Daniel Dunning withdrew from the company, so in 1846, Henry Wells sold out his interest in this concern to William A. Livingston, who became his partner in Livingston's Fargo and Company.
Jesus. We're just making the name longer and longer.
Yeah, so that was in 1850. There were basically three competing express companies. There was Wells and Company, which was Henry Wells, Livingston Fargo and Company, which was Fargo and William A. Livingston, and then there was also Wells Butterfield and Company, who was the successor earlier in 1850 of Butterfield Wasson and Company.
This is getting ridiculous.
So they all consolidated and became the American Express Company, with Wells as president and Fargo as secretary. So I'm sure all the WASPs got together and said, why don't we just blend all of this and become a monopoly?
What does WASP mean?
White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Yep.
So in 1866, upon the resignation of Henry Wells and American Express's merger with the Merchants Union Express Company, Fargo was then elected president of the American Express Company. He was the first president of the company until his death in 1881, at which point his brother, your boy J.C. Fargo, assumed the presidency, holding the post until 1914.
We go way back.
Which brings us to 1852, when Henry Wells and Fargo created Wells, Fargo & Co., which is when Butterfield objected to the extension of his operations to
I
California.
love how you say Butterfield.
The original Wells, Fargo & Co. was created to facilitate an express business between New York and San Fran by way of the Isthmus of Panama and on the Pacific coast. I don't know where all this is coming from. The new company offered banking services, which included buying gold and selling paper bank drafts.
So first, they weren't even a bank at first. They're like, yeah, we should handle this transport at first.
That's, yeah, and then they bloomed into the banking services, but of course they involved buying gold because they made their way out to California, and then they sold paper like Dunder and Mifflin, and then the express services on top of it, which is now basically modern-day FedEx. So that included rapid delivery of gold and then anything else valuable.
Was it 2 days?
I don't know. I don't know if it was overnight either.
I'm a Prime member.
So the company opened for business in the gold rush city of San Fran, of course, and then as soon as the company agents opened offices in the other new cities and mini camps in the West.
Mining.
Nailed it. I'm thinking football. In 1861, Wells Fargo and Company bought and reorganized the Overland Mail Co., which had been formed in 1857 to carry the U.S. mail, and of which Fargo had been one of the original promoters. So they essentially said, you know what, we're just going to move mail because we do everything else anyways, so why not get involved? And this is pre-USPS.
Jesus.
So this eventually brings us into the closing parts of this segment, but in 1868, he was 50. He bought 5.5 acres on the Buffalo's west side. Between 1868 and 1872, he built the Fargo Mansion, and I used to live around the corner from this. So The Fargo mansion was at Jersey and Fargo Streets, which was the largest mansion in Buffalo. Bro, the house was completed in 1872 at a cost of $600,000, equivalent to $12.8 million in 2019.
That must have cost billions and billions.
Another $100,000, which was equivalent to 2.1 mil, was spent to furnish and decorate the 22,170 square foot mansion. Michael Rizzo, who is a Buffalo historian, wrote, "The most elaborate and costly private mansion in the state outside of New York City. The house took 2 city blocks from Pennsylvania Ave, West Avenue, Jersey Street, and Fargo Ave. All of this is now developed, but it was essentially a central tower that was 5 stories high."
They took it down?
Yeah, so
What?
at his request, it contained wood from all states of the Union. It was the first home in the city to contain an elevator in it, and it was said to have gold doorknobs. So your boy died on August 3rd, 1881, after battling an illness for several months.
What a nerd.
After his funeral on August 7th, 1881, he was buried at the still existing Forest Lawn Cemetery. At the time of his death, he only had 2 kids that were alive, Georgia and Helen Fargo. His bro, your boy J.C. Fargo, succeeded him as president of the American Express after his death. But his wife, her name was Anna. She died in 1890, and then her 2 surviving children lived elsewhere, so the Fargo mansion was vacant for 10 years. She was alone in this ridiculously sized house. So it was deemed too expensive to maintain, and no one could afford it. So the mansion was demolished, and the block was cut into residential lots in 1901. The mansion and the estate grounds were only 30 years old. So Fargo Ave in Buffalo, the Fargo Quadrangle at UB Wolf, and Fargo, North Dakota are all named after him. The Fargo Estate Historic District was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2016. So he literally just owned all of the transportation from Buffalo to San Francisco between mail, gold, paper, and banking services, built a 22,000 square foot house that was just ridiculous. He dies because his immune system pooped on him. His wife dies. There's no one else that can afford it. So the city's like, we don't know what to do with a house that spans 22 acres. We're just going to demolish it. And then now it's basically, this whole area is by Kleinhans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's that whole area on the west side, literally around the corner from Deauville.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man. So now there's like restaurants, there's Kleinhans, and then all of
22,000 square feet.
5 stories high. It was literally, I mean, they said it was multiple blocks. It was obnoxious.
It reminds, as soon as you started describing it, it reminds me of the Armory downtown, where it's just like a castle.
Yeah, Connecticut Street. But this,
are there pictures of it?
Yeah,
back in
so
the day?
you can
Okay,
see
sick.
pictures of it from like 1900 whatever. It's crazy.
That's cool. We'll throw a picture up here, and then we'll also link to the article down in the description. That is fascinating. I didn't know any of that.
I mean, yeah, it was a powerhouse. He crushed it. Him and his boy Henry.
And JC.
Yeah,
The boy JC.
The boy JC. So
they
that was
owned,
episode 4.
See you, folks. Good night. All right, so they owned not only Wells Fargo, but also American Express.
Correct. Which bloomed into Wells Fargo being all of that.
Wow.
It was a monopoly.
How fascinating.
Yeah. In our own backyards.
Never would have thought.
Nope.
Wow. Well, everybody, that was episode 4 of our segment miniseries.
That's right.
What do we got next?
We got John Larkin.
Who's that?
Well, if you heard of Larkinville, he'd probably be involved.
Yeah. And you will figure that out next week. I can't wait till we get to episode 12.
Roswell Park. He was the one that could not perform the surgery to save Willie McKinley's life.
To failure. Just kidding. We really have to stop. I have to stop saying that because he is a great man.
Yeah, I know, but like, do your job, save the president.
Yeah.
Don't give us excuses that you saved someone else's life at the exact same time because you were performing surgery on somebody else.
Yeah, don't say
it's-
literally I can't leave, even for the president of the United States, and then they'll be like, yeah, well, it's the president. You're like, just kidding, can't. Sorry, man. We got to get out of here.
No, obviously much respect for Roswell Park.
Yeah, so if you're interested in next week's episode with John Larkin, then definitely give a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe and pass this off to somebody else because we got a lot of content coming for you. We have a miniseries number 3 already planned, but for the rest of miniseries number 2, we're going to be talking about people, legends in the Buffalo area like John Larkin, John R. O'Shea, aka Josh Allen, Rob E. Rich Sr., William Wild Bill Joe Donovan, Jack Kemp, Willis Carrier, Tim Russett, and then Roswell Park. So we got a lot of content coming for you in the next, this is going to take 2 months to get through this.
Oh, stop. It's fine.
Stop. We only record once a week.
I know.
All right. So what is going to be released with this episode right now?
I don't have the calendar, Rob.
What interview? Come on, man.
What do you
Come
want me to do?
I'm just kidding. I already know. It is Alchemy. So
Nice.
I'm pretty sure, right?
Here we go.
Yeah. No. I don't know. No, I lied. Alchemy's next week. This week is Mambrino King.
Oh.
Our friends over at Mambrino King.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't know what Mambrino King is, go back and check out that video. I'm not going to tell you any more information. No, they are a wine, chocolate, and coffee bar in the village of East Aurora. Mm-hmm. Sweet place. Cool people that run it too. They're now our best friends. So if you are interested in that, definitely go back to Friday and check that out. And anything else you want to say? It's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, go Bills.
We're out of here. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate all the time that you spent with us. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below. We really appreciate it. This has been episode 68 of the Buffalo Happy Hour. Everybody, drink responsibly, be a good person. And Michael,
Do not litter.
we are out.